Is Rich Dad Poor Dad a scam? Are the books dumb? Well, it depends on what you mean by that. Personally, I have read Rich Dad Poor Dad, Rich Dad's Retire Young, Retire Rich, Rich Dad's Cashflow Quadrant, Rich Dad's Guide to Investing, and Rich Dad's Conspiracy of the Rich. Both of my parents had suggested I read the first book. So, are the books dumb? You must be thinking, how is it possible for the #1 finance book of all time to be dumb? If you Google Rich Dad Poor Dad, you will come up with pages of people who complain that the book is dumb and try to find everything that's wrong with Robert and his business. In my opinion, the books are simple, as Robert intended them to be. His goal is to have people change their mindsets from employees and self-employed to big business owners and investors. In order to do that, he has to be clear enough with what he says, but make sure he does not make it overbearing. He has also said that he wanted his books to be simple enough for both an adult and an 8-year-old to understand. For me, reading the first book was my life-altering aha moment. It was the missing piece in my puzzle, something I always knew I wanted without actually knowing until then. For those who have read Rich Dad Poor Dad and think it's too dumb for them, give Rich Dad's Guide to Investing a chance. If that's still too dumb for you, realize that most people are not aware that they have these options in real life. The Rich Dad Company has over 20 books out. Do they expect you to buy all the books? Maybe, maybe not. Robert has mentioned the cone of learning where it says you only remember 10% of what you have read, so why all the books? Every time a book comes out, new people buy it, then maybe buy his first book and his games. Will reading all of his books be beneficial for someone? Maybe, maybe not. I find that his books may be slightly repetitive, but I find each book has something very good and new to offer. Reading all of his books may help you gradually out of your work hard for money mindset. Just remember, it will be useless if you don't take action. Who was Rich Dad? Did he even exist? Some critics don't believe that Robert's Rich Dad existed. In some of the books, it says on one of the first pages, although based on a true story, certain events in the book have been fictionalized for educational content and impact. However, it does not contain that in the first book. Why doesn't Robert say his rich dad's name? It's because Mike's family does not want the name to be available to the public. Would I be surprised if Rich Dad was a made-up character? Not really. Would I feel betrayed? Yes, but what I learned from the books is enough to make up for it. People who accuse the author of writing fiction and are mad for the book being labeled as nonfiction are terribly misinformed. You are naive to think that every nonfiction book is real. Authors of nonfiction make up things all the time, not really for selfish purposes, but to teach or inspire you. Why did Robert call his real dad his poor dad? Ralph Kiyosaki was a well-respected man, went to college, went back to school to earn more degrees, worked hard for his money, earned hundreds of thousands of dollars working for Hawaii's education board, and ran for governor. However, when he ran for governor, he was banished from working for education. He lost all the money he got. Hard to believe that someone can lose hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Robert called his real dad his poor dad because he had a poor mindset. Whenever his dad made more money, he spent it on liabilities, and as a result went broke after working for decades. I can relate. My mom lost all of her money after quitting a bad job, years of earning hundreds of thousands of dollars. Lots of it drained for having an expensive house with a high mortgage. Just because someone has a high paycheck does not mean they are rich. Money won't solve your money problems. Lots of lottery winners go bankrupt after just a few years. The higher your pay gets, the more expensive the toys. Are Robert and the Rich Dad / Quadrant learning mentors and instructors really financially free? Some may ask, why is Robert working his butt off to promote his books and business if he is financially free and retired young and rich? I sometimes wondered this. I find the answer to be very simple. He's dedicated and attached to his business, just like Mark Zuckerberg is to Facebook. How about the mentors and instructors? I asked one if he got paid to do this while I attended the 3-day Learn to Be Rich workshop. He said of course he does. Gets paid to mentor, travel, etc. He also said doing all this traveling gives him and his colleagues a chance to invest around the country. My instructor was a guy named Leah Scoba. He was a good speaker, honest, and had a lot to say. He told us to Google Rich Dad Education to see what the results were. He said that most things you see on the internet are negative, asking us how many have posted a good review of a restaurant online. I was the only one out of over 100 to raise my hand. Lee said that most of the negative reviews that we see online are from early on until 2008, and since then the company has improved. Only 100 to 200 people have been dissatisfied customers out of over 180,000. All but 5 or 6 have been taken care of. Activity. Look up your favorite restaurants and read the reviews. Is it understandable why some businesses may have terrible reviews online, but have a satisfied customer base in real life? Think of all the reviews you have written. Were they mostly negative? Lee gave us some very personal stories and information and showed us copies of checks and personal statements from his real estate investing. He told us that he's been asked many times why he teaches these seminars. He answers that it's because he has a teaching gene. He wants to make people's lives better, just like his was made better. Just think. If you became financially free and were happy, wouldn't you want to teach others to do the same? The free workshop. One day I was online going to richdadworkshops.com to sign up for free Rich Dad webinars. I just put my zip code in the search box thinking that nothing would show up as usual. But then, to my surprise, I saw that there was going to be one in my city, so I signed up. I also saw advertisements for it on the sidebars in my email. I had stumbled upon all the bad things that had been said about it, but I still decided to go. Was the free workshop a sales pitch for the more expensive one? Yes, but it contained some very interesting information. Plus, they gave us a CD-ROM that contains a real estate investing glossary, an excerpt from Conspiracy of the Rich, and a report. On the front cover of the CD-ROM, it says it would retail for $39.99. Do I think it's worth that much? No, but it was free and contained good information. That's what counts. Friends telling you not to attend the free seminar? I've read reviews online about people saying they tell all their friends and everybody they know not to attend it. That all they do is force you to buy the next workshop. From what I saw there, nobody was forced to do anything. Sure, the free workshop was a preview and made people want to go, but nobody had oranges forced down their throat for not buying the 3-day workshop. I've seen a few commenters reply to bad reviews saying something along the lines of, "I went and it was good. Nobody forces you to do anything. Use your common sense. You don't have to buy everything." The 3-day Learn to Be Rich workshop I attended. Is it only a sales pitch for the very expensive mentoring and workshops? They do mention it, but I found that they had more information than sale pitches. I read a comment where the person compared it to watching a good television show with the long commercials. I have to personally disagree. Lee mentioned it only a few times, going more into depth at the end of the second day. Lee even called us out on thinking that this 3-day workshop was only a sales pitch for the other expensive programs. He wanted to give us real information. He also explained very well that because a 3-day workshop is only 3 days and has to cover a broad range of subjects, that is why they offer the more expensive workshops to focus on just one thing. The perks. The 3-day workshop was to be $999, but people who attended the free workshop got it reduced to the $199. You could bring along a guest for free, and people who signed up for the 3-day workshop got a tote bag, Rich Dad's Conspiracy of the Rich, Philosophy of Cashflow, and a guide to real estate investing. What I learned. Day 1. Cashflow Quadrant, Rich Mindsets, Investing for Cashflow and Capital Gains, Current Market for Mobile Homes, Different Ways to Buy a Property, Equity is not profit, and Credit Cards can be considered other people's money. Day 2. Don't pay for anything more than paint, flooring, and landscaping for rehabs, otherwise wholesale, fractionalized money, exit strategies, short sales, lease options, wrap mortgages, and creating buyers. Day 3. Creative financing, how to hide your name from public records if you own a LLC or corporation, why to not do your own repairs or hire an unlicensed worker, loan applications, virtual assistants, and monthly operating expenses. My mom went to this with me as my guest. Overall, she enjoyed it. She has worked over 25 years in banking and was glad to learn about the other side. She talked with me and other people on how good the workshop was at subtly persuading people to go to the next level of workshops. Her first reaction to my signing up for this via the free workshop kind of made her mad, thinking they tricked me, but now she wants to eventually sign up for the more expensive classes. Can't I learn all of that on the internet? I guess you can, if you know where to look and who writes the information. However, you probably don't know exactly what to look up and could still be missing out on some things. Plus, the Code of Learning mentions that people only remember 10% of what they read. What did I not like? I was a little upset that we didn't get to play the Cashflow game like the free workshop said we would, and I wish they had more restroom breaks. The Better Business Bureau. Quadrant Inc. has an F rating. We mentioned that the Better Business Bureau had given them a low score and that was mostly for 2006 through 2008, and since then the business has improved. Advanced training is $10,000 to $40,000. I am not sure what other educational companies would offer. Results from programs are based on individual effort and other factors, in the fine print of some Rich Dad material. Lee told us that the testimonials the companies show are real. They have to be screened by the attorneys, and if any are false and the SEC finds out, then they're screwed. Can you trust the Better Business Bureau? It is a for-profit company, not a non-profit or government-owned agency. ABC 2020 documentary showed that the Better Business Bureau would give an A+ to businesses who gave them money, even terrorist groups. Other businesses that have an F rating: the Ritz-Carlton Hotel Company, LLC, Apple Creek Management Creek, Inc., National Geographic Society, Tom Shoes, and the Sierra Club is not considered a charity with a Better Business Bureau, but has a 4-star rating on Charity Navigator. The neat free things Rich Dad offers that critics don't even mention. RichDadWorld.com. It's entirely free. You can choose to be rich home study course, pretty much an online book. How We Got Out of Bad Debt audio, Rich Dad Toolkit, Rich Dad Poor Dad audiobook, free introduction to coaching, and a free membership to Rich Dad Insider for 360 days. Free webinars, Forex, foreclosures, Learn to be Rich, Stock Success, Options, and others. Yes, they do try to sell you a 3-day webinar for $79 or $99, but even the free webinars are chock full of information. Others. ShootingTheSecretCows.com. Sign up for free and access a documentary that is divided into multiple parts. RichWoman.com. Sign up for free and they have a glossary full of business terms. Cashflow Online. Play the game for free online. In conclusion, Rich Dad is a business and all publishing companies like to have authors write multiple books. If you do decide to take an advanced Rich Dad course, be careful as always and make sure you know you're going to take the classes to your advantage. I liked the free workshop and the 3-day Learn to be Rich one and would recommend it to other people. I do like the websites Rich Dad has to offer very much. The books I have read so far have been very informative to me, but they may differ for you. I would say what the critics have said online do not relate at all to my experience. Be wary of anyone who tries to criticize everything an organization does. One critic said that Robert says college is for suckers. Robert only says that traditional education is for academic and professional, not financial. Even in Retire Young, Retire Rich, he says that he wants people to go to college, but that it won't guarantee you financial success.